Welcome back to Mock Draft Madness, Day 2. I'm Hunter with You Don't Know Ball. If you don't know ball and want to know ball, be sure to subscribe. Leave a like. Let me know in the comments your favorite and least favorite pick from this mock draft. As always, what we're going to do is we're going to do a mock draft every single day up until the actual draft. In the description is a link to the spreadsheet that tracks the ADP of these drafts. And what I did today is there was a couple trade ideas in the comments from yesterday's video. So I'm going to try that out, and to start, we're just going to make the trades before we actually get in there, so the draft order is set. So the first pick we're going to do here is we're going to have the Falcons moving up to 5 with and swapping with the Chargers. I know this is kind of a different approach here, but that's the whole point of Mock Draft Madness, is to try out all these scenarios. So we're going to pick swap. We're going to give them our second, and I think maybe a second next year gets it done as well. So we're going to force that trade through. And then, I think that's what we're going to do to kind of start off the draft. And then there's another trade scenario possibly with the Bears trading down, and we'll try that out depending on how the board falls. So let's get right into it here. So at number 1, the Bears are going to take Caleb Williams. I'm not really going to sit here and explain that one. It makes sense. So then at number 2, we had the Commanders taking Drake May yesterday. I am going to switch it up and go Jaden Daniels here. And then at number 3, okay, let's do something a little weird here. So we had a comment here yesterday from Ray Shepard saying, I feel Joe Alt is going 3 to the Pats. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to go Joe Alt to the Pats. So obviously, I don't claim to be realistic. That was another comment I got yesterday, how the board was unrealistic. I am trying to lay out a ton of different scenarios that could happen. Are they likely to happen? Probably not. But I don't want it to be like just every single other mock draft video. So we already got a weird switch up where Drake May is falling to 4. So does this mean that the Falcons try to move up again? Does it mean another team tries to move up again? I think what I'm going to do is, for the sake of the video, this video, I'm going to make things interesting. Okay. I'm going to have the Raiders trade up. Should we do Raiders or Vikings? What should we do? I've done the Vikings already. Let's do the Raiders. So the Raiders are going to swap picks. We're going to give them our second, and we're going to give them our first next year. And maybe like a 4th next year as well. Now, obviously, I'm not great at the compensation, guys. You get the picture. You can work out your own compensation. It's more just to move the picks around. So we're going to force this trade through, and this leaves Atlanta kind of in an unfortunate spot. So what I'm going to do is I am going to have the Raiders taking Drake May, which I actually think is not a bad spot for him. If you think about it, he has Jacoby Myers, he has Devontae Adams. If they bring back Josh Jacobs, and then you have Michael Mayer, a lot of people forget about him, who started to come on a little bit last year. So with the Falcons trading up, I'm going to have them go J.J. McCarthy here. So this is an interesting way the draft fell. We have 4 quarterbacks going in within the top 5 and a tackle at number 3, which leaves Marvin Harrison Jr. on the board. In any world, do I see Marvin Harrison Jr. getting to 6? Not a chance, but this is the real world. This is mock draft madness, and this is what it's about. So with number 6, I'm going to have the New York Giants taking Marvin Harrison Jr. Wow, Giants fans, if I were you, I'd be geeked if this is how draft night panned out. The Titans, I believe, are going to be looking for a receiver in this draft. So I am going to go, I'm between Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze. But I don't know if you saw that video of Malik Neighbors. They asked, would you rather go to, I think it was the Cardinals or the Titans, or Falcons or Titans? And he was like, oof. So I don't know. And I am going to give them, I don't know. I want to give them Rome. I'm going to give them Rome Odunze. So at A tier, we're sitting at an interesting spot. We could go Brock Bowers to the Chargers, which is, I know, what some Chargers fans want. And you got some draft capital off of it. So it's not like you're taking Bowers at a premium position and not getting nothing out of it. You picked up a first, I believe, in that trade we did. So, Brock Bowers or Malik Neighbors. I'm going to go Brock Bowers here to the Chargers. So at 9, I think this is really, really easy if one of the top 3 receivers is there. I'm going to go Malik Neighbors. So at number 10, we have the New York Jets. Now, as many ways as you want to swing it, I think it's really hard to imagine the Jets leaving without a offensive tackle. And if Olu is on the board here, I think Olu is an easy pick for the Jets. At number 11 with the Minnesota Vikings, I think this leaves them in an interesting spot because if you really look at it, they didn't get the quarterback. They didn't trade up this draft, right? So what do you really need? You need edge help. For sure. You need interior D-line help. You could use corners. Obviously running back is a need now that, it's basically going to be Ty Chandler unless they sign someone in free agency. But you don't want to go running back here. I think edge is the most apparent need here. So I'm going to give Dallas Turner to the Minnesota Vikings. Now we're sitting here with the Broncos at number 12. Now here's my thing. The Broncos do really need a quarterback. I think what I'm going to have them do is I'm going to have them trade back, possibly. I'm just trying to think of who they would trade with because I think there are some good options here. I think Bo Nix and Michael Penix. I would take Michael Penix before I took Bo Nix, honestly. But I don't want to take either of them very, very early here. So let's see who could potentially trade up because these are some good options here. Who might want to come get one of these elite guys? Sorry guys. I'm all calculating this on the fly. I don't know, man. Maybe what? Okay, I have another idea that I'll do later in the mock draft. So what I'm going to have them do then is at this point, I want to give them Byron Murphy. I think that's a good pick to add on the interior of that defensive line. So now we have the Cardinals picking here at 13 because they traded out of their pick with the Raiders and amassed more draft capital. They're sitting here with a great option here. You could add Talisa Fuaga and pair him with Paris Johnson Jr. You could add a cornerback 1 to that cornerback room, which would be a very nice option. You can get one of the top pass rushers here in Leatu Latu or Jared Verse, because I don't know if Dennis Gardeck is going to be your guy going forward. You could solidify the line here. I think what would be really nice here is I like Talisa Fuaga a lot, but I really do like J.C. Latham to the Cardinals here. At number 14, we have the New Orleans Saints. They do need tackle help. They do need edge help. I had them going Jared Verse yesterday, so I am going to go Talisa Fuaga. At number 15 to the Colts. Okay, we got a lot of options here. We got all the top corners on the board. You need interior help because Grover Stewart's getting a little bit older. And you could go Jackson Powers-Johnson. He is the top interior low line, but I actually don't think the Colts O-line is that bad. I don't really think they need that much help. So I think I gave them a corner yesterday. I am going to give them Terrion Arnold just to mix it up here. I think Terrion Arnold, he's a really young corner who he's very moldable. He's a sophomore coming out of Alabama, and the growth that he showed from the beginning of this year to the end of this year was very, very promising. And if you can continue that trajectory into the NFL, he can definitely be one of the top corners in the game. At number 16, we're sitting here with the Seattle Seahawks. I think Jackson Powers-Johnson is a steal for them. You got to fix that interior for Gino or whoever is going to be playing quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. At number 17 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. You have Josh Allen, you have Trayvon Walker, and while I would love to add a Jared Verse or Leatu Latu to the mix because of the fact that I really think teams need like 3 pass rushers to be really top echelon, top tier, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add Cooper DeJean as a DB in there because they really haven't had a dominant CB1 in that room since Jalen Ramsey. And at the end of the day, if you want to play Cooper DeJean at safety, you can. You can play him at corner, really wherever you want him to. I know some people will project him to safety, but I think he can play corner in the league. So with the Bengals on the clock, I'm going to give them Derzon Newton at an inside force and allow that D-line to continue to wreak havoc. At number 19, we're sitting at an interesting spot here. You got QB need, O-line need, D-line need, LB, DB. Okay. Well, I think for value, taking one of the top corners could be good. Honestly, it's starting to become a little bit criminal that these edges are still on the board. And actually, I think I want to give, I don't know. What would you guys do? In the comments, let me know. If I don't know what I'm going to do right here. Let me know what you guys think the Rams would do in this position. If these 4 players on the board, where are you going? I think I'm going to give them Quinyon Mitchell. I like that pick a lot for them. At number 20, to the Pittsburgh Steelers, we need DB help. I am going to give them, well, they have, Mika Fitzpatrick at safety. You have Joey Porter Jr. at corner. You need center help. I think, you could grab one of these guys. Their defense is a little bit, I don't want to say stacked, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to give them Nate Wiggins. Nate Wiggins ran a 4.29 at the combine this weekend. Very fast, and I think my thing is the corner, with TJ Watt getting a little bit older and their defensive line getting a little bit older, you're going to need a stronger secondary, and obviously the secondary improves when your pass rush is better. So I think when you have like a deep secondary room, I don't think you can ever have enough corners, and I like teams that take that approach in roster building because it's like, okay, corners inevitably really, they get hurt, and if you're down like a starting corner, other teams with dominant pass games are going to pick on that guy all day. I know you can run zones and everything like that, but I think Nate Wiggins or any corner really to the Steelers makes sense here. So now we have the Miami Dolphins. Both the interior guys are off the board. You need O-line. You could go Amarius Mims and develop him. You could go Troy Fontanu. You could go Graham Barton. I'm going to go Troy Fontanu. He is a tackle, so if you need to kick him out for Austin Jackson or Teron Armstead, you can. But he can really play any of the 3 positions here. At number 22, to the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's see. What do we want to do here? You need wide receiver, linebacker, and DB. Well, Peyton Wilson rose up the board. I know Edgerrin Cooper might be a good pick for them. I don't know about Kool-Aid here, and I don't really know about wide receiver. You need a wide receiver 3, but the draft is so deep, you can really get them anywhere. Hassan Reddick may be on the market, and at the end of the day, we know the Eagles love their defensive line. So I'm going to go Jared Verse here. Him falling this late is actually criminal anyway. So now we're at the Texans. We have wide receiver, tight end, DB, DL, and linebacker. Honestly, there's no interior, defensive lineman here unless you want to reach on Tavondre Sweat. Then that's not what I'm going to do here. And, I'm not going to lie, though. With the way that Brian Thomas Jr. ran a 4.33 yesterday, I'm going to add Brian Thomas Jr. to the Houston Texans. Adding Brian Thomas Jr. with Nico Collins and Tank Dell, along with Dalton Schultz is going to be a scary combo. Graham Barton to the Cowboys, too easy. They need interior line help. Tyron Smith is gone. And you know what? I wish I could redo that pick because I would have taken Amarius Mims, but we can't do it. I thought too fast. Sue me. At number 25, we have the Packers. So we could go Ennis Rakestraw. We could go Tyler Nubin. We could go Cooley McKinstry, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Cooley McKinstry, he did not participate at the Combine because they found a fracture in his foot. He's going to run his pro day before getting it fixed somehow. So I don't know how that's going to affect him. But at the end of the day, the Packers need DB help, whether that is safety or depth at corner past Jair Alexander. And I think they're going to add secondary in the draft, probably early rounds, just to get that caliber of player. At number 26 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we have a lot of options here. I think we're going to go top edge off the board here with Leatu Latu. Give him work next to Kalijah Cansey. I think Todd Bowles really knows how to use his defenses, and if you give a polished and well-rounded pass rusher like Leatu Latu, that Bucs line, with even still Vita Vea, becomes pretty scary. I mean, it's been scary, not to take away from what it already is. At number 27, we have the Arizona Cardinals on the clock, who earlier took J.C. Latham, so they have their bookend tackles here. So what could we want? So you don't know if you're bringing back Hollywood Brown. You don't really have a wide receiver one right now, and I don't love Troy Franklin. I'm not going to lie. You have Ladd McConkey, A.D. Mitchell. I'm going to give them at A.D. Mitchell. I think A.D. Mitchell can be that alpha one receiver for certain teams, and I think he has moved his way up into the end of the first round. A guy who I think dropped because of the Combine is Keon Coleman. He ran like a 4.61, I believe, or a 4.65, something like that, and it was not impressive at all. And I think that was a big factor in him going in the first round, was how fast he was going to run his 40. So that leaves us here with the Buffalo Bills, and we have Amarius Mims on the board here. I have never mocked tackle to them, and they need linebacker help as well. So I guess it comes down to, do you want to develop a tackle in Amarius Mims? Do you want a linebacker that can provide you help right now? Or do you want a wide receiver next to Stephon Diggs? I think these are all valid options. And with the way I look at the Bills, I want to look at them of who is going to give me the most value now. And I think that is possibly a wide receiver. I think they need help there. But the issue is, I don't love any of these. I really like Ladd McConkey, and I think he is a first-round talent, but in my opinion, I don't necessarily know if the pairing of McConkey and Diggs is not that it wouldn't be like a recipe for success. It's just, I think you would want something different, and with the way, I wouldn't be opposed to Keon Coleman here, but with the way that I wouldn't even oppose to Keon Coleman here, but with the way that I just talked about him, I feel like it'd be pretty criminal to put him here. So I don't want to do Keon Coleman to the Bills. Long term, Amarius Mims would make a lot of sense for them because he is going to develop into a really good player, and I know that just goes against what I said about them having the most impact now, but Amarius Mims truly can be special. He just only played 800 snaps at Georgia and needs time to develop, but if he just measured in at 6'7" or something at the Combine. We're going to be live streaming today, by the way. If you want to come check in, we're going to be talking about the O-linemen. We're starting at noon Central Time. So if you're watching this video, then that means we're live streaming. At number 29 to the Detroit Lions, they need interior help badly. They also need cornerback help. So we have Ennis Rakestraw and we have TJ Tampa. TJ Tampa did not test because he was dealing with a hamstring injury, and Ennis Rakestraw did not have that good of a RAS score. And I think cornerback is really the way to go here. IDL or defensive interior, Brandon Fisk had a great combine. Do I think he's going to go first round? I don't know. Chris Jenkins also had a decent combine. T'Vondre Sweat had a good combine. You know what? I think I'm going to go. Do I go a little bit crazy here? Do I go T'Vondre Sweat in the first round? Do I go T'Vondre Sweat in the first round? Or do I go TJ Tampa? TJ Tampa is a big, long, athletic corner. He's not afraid to lay the hit on somebody. Ennis Rakestraw is also a good corner. He's not as big as TJ, I don't believe. So, sorry, guys. These last picks are really throwing me for a loop. I'm just trying to, you know what? It's not the end of the world. TJ Tampa to the Detroit Lions. At number 30 to the Baltimore Ravens. So we could go Ladd McConkey here. You could go Keon Coleman here. You need D-line help. But this is what I'm going to do. We're going to make a trade. We're going to make a trade with the Denver Broncos. They're going to trade their 76th, their second next year, their 30th. Yes, the Broncos giving up tons of draft capital to move up here. And it might take a first-round pick next year. I'm not going to lie here. So we're going to move up, and we are going to take Michael Penix Jr. And the reason I'm doing this is because the reality is the Broncos are not going to be able to get Penix Jr. in the second round because they don't have a second-round pick. And you get the fifth-year option on Penix then if you're going to want him to be your franchise guy. This is a reality I could see for Knicks and Penix is people trading into the back of the first round because the reality is people want that fifth-year contract. They want that fifth year of control. It's not the cheapest. It may be $25-30 million. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know how much it would be for a quarterback in the late first round. I'm thinking of like Justin Fields just off the top of my head. Like I know his fifth year option would be $25-30. So now we're sitting here with the San Francisco 49ers, Tyler Guyton, easy. Let him develop one more year under even McKivitz or obviously McKivitz or Trent Williams. I don't necessarily know how much longer Williams is going to be there. I know you want to replace McKivitz, and I think Tyler Guyton can be a star for you. At number 32, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. I think at the end of the day, with the way Ladd McConkey performed yesterday, Ladd McConkey to the Chiefs just sounds incredible. So now we have the first round mock for Mock Draft Madness Day 2. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you don't know ball, want to know ball, be sure to subscribe, leave a like. Let me know in the comments your favorite and least favorite pick. Like a disclaimer, like I said, these are just for fun scenarios that are trying to be a little bit different. They're not realistic, just different options from what possibly you normally see. And then also, the reality is we don't know what's going to happen in April. We don't know what's going to develop across these next 2 months. And the reality is this board could look completely different. Some of these guys might not even be first-round picks. We don't know what's going to come out about them. We don't know what is going to happen with them. Like, the whole point of this is just to have a little bit of fun. It is Mock Draft Madness. Be sure to check the spreadsheet in the description for the ADP for these guys, as it'll update every time the draft goes. At the bottom, there's also tabs to see the drafts as they progress. I will try to take in the knowledge that I gain from reports and combine and kind of implement them in terms of trade partners. But like I said, shout out to Ray Shepard for the Joe Alt idea. Shout out Yeet Skeet for the Chargers trade back idea. Really appreciate it. Leave your trade ideas in the comments, and I will try them in my next mock draft video. Have a great rest of your day.